Air through a device called a bellows. Pushing air down a pipe under the fire. That fire starts to wake up. And it starts to get very, very, very hot. In fact, if I fall asleep and keep doing this, the metal will melt. Then I gotta start all over again. That's gotta be a good part of my day. So I have to look at it every once in a while. I don't like that getting hot. So I'm going to go over to my water. Put that in there. All I want is the corner hot. So that's why we have water too, to control where that heat is going to be. Now that was hot, but not hot enough. I got to make a hole in this. So I'm looking for a different color. Then I'll make a hole. That looks. I like that color. Pull that off. Put this here.
You're ready.
Driving it. Now the anvil's in the way. Can't go any further. Flip it over. Find where that hole wanted to come through. Put it back on. I'm going to whack the back way. Now if I've lined those up and they match, I might have a hole. Let's see what happens. So I have a hole, and unlike Dunkin' Donuts that have a use for their holes, blacksmiths don't have a use for the inside of the hole. What do Dunkin' Donuts do with the inside of their donuts?
It's easier to take a bite.
They make donut holes, right? Well, there's a blacksmith hole. I don't have any use for it. So there's the hole. There's what came out of it. How many more of these I got to make? How many more holes?
Three.
Three. Try. Trivet. And I have 3 legs on it. It's a kitchen tool. So there's a hole. Now, how many of you young people know what archaeology is? Tell me what it is.
I know what it is.
When an architect designs something.
No. No, not at all. Archaeology. Archaeology. Nobody? Come on, you guys. You're all future scientists, whizzes of America. It's the study of the ancient past by digging up the earth, using toothbrushes and dental picks, a little at a time. You go down through the layers, and you can find what happened 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 400 years ago. This is how we discover our past. And across the street, that blacksmith shop, which was 185 years old, we did an archaeological dig before it got moved here. We found one of these near the front door. That's the inside of my hole. So, here's the inside of the hole. I'm going to ask you a question. Who wants to hold it? The blacksmith shop was across the street. How did that get from across the street over to the front door of the blacksmith's house? These are questions you get as an archaeologist. I knew what that is. That's the inside of a hole. But how did it travel across the street? This is educated guesswork. Archaeology is science with educated guesswork. Well, look how I'm dressed as a blacksmith. My sleeves are rolled up. I might have pants legs rolled up. What if that fell off and went down inside here? When I go home, I'm going to brush myself off. That little piece would fall out. That's my guess. So we did 3 years of archaeological research into that house before it got moved here many, many years ago. Now, this hole is the first hole. We're going to countersink it, and then I'm going to make 2 more holes. Try meaning 3. These legs are going to go, might be 1.5 inches up off the table. This is a comfortable hole. That long. This is all custom work. We don't do this unless somebody wants it. This is ordered. They're waiting for it to be finished, and then I can make 10 cents. Cost me gonna be 10 cents for this. Means I got to do it in an hour. A little over an hour. Got a question? Just speak up.
I guess 10 cents was a lot back then.
Yeah, I could get a dozen eggs. Get a dozen eggs for my wife for 10 cents. Add another 60 cents, 50 cents, I could buy a pair of shoes for my daughter. For 60 cents, I could get a pair of what we call pumps or load shoes. Small work shoes. I can make $1.50 a day. I can support family, pay my bills, and I can get the food I need to support my family. So that was a pretty good income. At one point in time, I thought, well, I don't want to be a blacksmith. It's going to spend 3 or 4 years to learn it. I really want to go right to work and work on a farm with no real skills. And if I had chosen that career path, I would be making maybe 50 cents for 15 hours of work, 18 hours of work, instead of $1.50. So, if you have a skill, rather than working with your muscles and back, it will bring you a better income. Is that different today? You guys quit school right now, and you go get a job somewhere. How do you think you'll fare if you could get a job?
So do you think you would get a better income by staying in school? Do you be able to earn more money by staying in
Until I
school?
was 16, I learned to read, write, and do my math, so I can run a business. And I don't need any more than that.
So he's saying he doesn't need any more school other than 16. How do you
You
think
could be a
people-
doctor and not go to college. You could be a lawyer and not go to college. You study, as a young person, you study with a lawyer, you study with a doctor. You learn right from 16 to 18 years of age. You don't have to have a college degree in 1838 to do that. But a country lawyer doesn't make more money than I do. Our country lawyer up here, he doesn't make much money. So, if you live in the city and you negotiate treaties and you work with wealthy clients, you can make a lot more money as a lawyer, but not in a little country town. We don't even have a doctor in this village. So everybody's family is their own doctor. So trade work won't make you rich, but it'll help pay the bills. Trades would be pottery, blacksmith, carpentry, furniture building, cabinet maker, potters were trades, barrel makers, coopers they call them, were trades. All about the same. Except our tin shop, if you go work in our tin shop, you don't get paid by the hour or by the day. It's a quantity of what you make. So if you decide, well, I don't really want to work much today, and you make 5 objects, you won't make 10 cents for the day. You make 500 objects, you get $1, depending on what that object costs. So that's more of a factor. All right, so this is hole number 1. Hole number 2, hole number 3. This is called a heart-shaped trivet. Once I get the holes, the next job will be to make the 3 legs that go in those holes. Okay. So back to the fire. called a trivet.